Transformers masterpiece movie, Volkswagen Bumblebee. Sculpting-wise, this is a very faithful representation of a Volkswagen Beetle. Painting-wise, leaves something to be desired. They've gone with this orange fade to more closely represent a more realistic color scheme for a Volkswagen Beetle that you'd see in, the real world, which is admirable, but it's not consistent amongst all the panels. Not only is it especially noticeable on the back, but even from side to side it's inconsistent. Couple that with some rolling troubles from some low-hanging kibbly bits, and yeah, this mode's kind of just okay. While it's very common for people to say an MPM feels like an upscale or a downscale or a remake of an older figure, this very much does feel like a redo of the Studio Series Bumblebee. Like, the main difference I see is the Studio Series version rotates at the waist, but looking at it from the underside, you can definitely see a lot of the similarities going on in the transformation. Oh, and don't worry, the step that conceals the head from the underside of the vehicle mode, which makes it inaccurate to the movie, you don't have to do that at all. Some wasted parts there, don't you think? Another thing that seems to have been inherited from the Studio Series version is some tabbing issues. Definitely a lot more apparent here on the roof, especially though at the back. It takes some finessing to get it in, but once you do it a few times you get the hang of it. Something the Studio Series did, but this doesn't, is some proper weapon storage for the accessories. Exact same accessories, by the way. Okay. Now this is, I guess, somewhat reminiscent of how Volkswagen can have like a pack or something stored back there, but it covers up the tailpipes, which means kind of loses that favorability from being kind of accurate, so Considering the Deluxe was able to do it, I really think this should have been able to do it as well. And then here's the first NPM Bumblebee, or second, whatever. Here's that, and how it deals with weapon storage. So it does less, though. Scale-wise, though, I think this looks fine. I definitely do think this fits in with Human Alliance figures. And now I want some more Human Alliance figures. If you can hook me up, then please do. Speaking of Human Alliance, here's Human Alliance Barricade. The cop car that chases Bumblebee in the movie that totally wasn't Barricade. And Generation Toy OpX, and no, this really doesn't feel like they're supposed to scale. This feels too big of a truck mode. Like, look at how small those doors are there. Transformation is complex, finicky, yet it's satisfying to see watching happen in stop-motion animation. And god damn, I think this robot mode looks cool. Sure, it's not completely accurate to the movie, but it hits all of the right beats for it, and frankly, with these more athletic proportions and a bit more angles to it, I think it legitimately looks better than the model we see in the movie. I'm sorry, but I gotta be honest, my opinion on that movie has changed. I just like how this looks better. I love how the back of the car folds in and out and kind of accordions in to form these quadriceps on the back of the legs. Like, that looks so cool! You don't see these panels on his arms from most angles, but they add just, like, that little bit of spice to him. And I like him. And he's got door wings. You know, like he typically does. The only real kibble I can concede to being ugly is the rear fenders and the hood being on the back. I like this. This is a generally good Transformer design. Being obviously based on concept art, the proportions and design work on this figure is a lot more in line with the movie 1 design, which I don't see the problem with. At least, I prefer the era of time where Bumblebee was a prequel, and I kind of do wish we got that movie instead. But in terms of kibble, MPM 3 definitely handles it a lot better. I absolutely feel like they could have handled the hood the same way MPM 3 handles the roof and windshields. Like, I don't really see a reason why they couldn't, especially considering if they hadn't done that thing with the head in the center section of the chest, which is pretty useless. I also think he looks pretty good fighting against Mr. No-Show. Or getting ready to punch an older style MP Carbot, which by comparison is... Yikes! Holy crap, Masterpiece has evolved! It's robot mode that makes the similarities between the Deluxe and the Masterpiece a lot more apparent, though. Of course, what would any movie Bumblebee be without his movie Bumblebee weaponry? Combining the face mask, gun, and sword with the excellent level of posing on display here, and this guy looks even cooler. I never really did state this, but I love how the gun is designed to really look like it's transformed out of the hand. You know, because it's a transformer. And it has kibble. But I mean, surely the irony isn't lost on us that Bumblebee's gun has more kibble, letting you know that it transforms out of his arm, than the in-movie Bumblebee design has kibble, letting you know he turns into a Volkswagen. Like that's not lost on us, is it? Because like he didn't really have much of anything. It's just like the headlights on the torso and the wheels and windows on the back, and that's like it. All the rest of the vehicle disappeared on that design. Though otherwise, it does have a suspicious amount of mass that has seemed to come out of nowhere. Unlike MPM3, who totally, actually, legitimately looks like the cannon could have just transformed out of his arm. And while I'm not gonna go into full posing, he has ankle tilts so deep that he's sooner able to rest on his crotch than he is get the maximum range out of his ankles, which... okay. One legitimate issue, and this is more of the design, is the stomach section there is designed in a way that it appears a raised rotation is impossible. This figure has it, but it breaks the sculpt. And again, this is more on fault of the design from the movie. But just like MP52, if you don't want to break the sculpt, then you don't have to rotate the waist. I'd rather the figure have a waist swivel that breaks sculpts than not have one, because like not having a waist swivel is so stupid. Speaking of Starscream, Bumblebee here packs in a bonus little set of titty missiles. Overall, despite the abundance of kibble that makes it inaccurate, I feel like this is still a very under-repped figure. Accuracy, in my books, isn't everything. Despite being inaccurate, this figure is still very damn good for what it is. Especially with all the die-cast, which I just completely forgot to mention. Plus, look what happens when they try to be robot mode as accurate as they can be. Dear God, burn it with fire!
Greetings, my name is Optimus Prime. I bring you this message to say that I hope you enjoyed this video by Nexus 8846 Productions. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and to subscribe with notifications on to let us know you did, and to keep up to date on future awesome content. And until next time, my fellow Autobots, transform and roll out!